Hey, what's up guys? It's been a while since I posted a video, I'll admit, but I did manage to muster up the motivation today to make a new video for you, so I've ended up doing that, and it's gonna be all about what I think about the DMR 14 and the Diamante pistol's recent nerfs, and just how good they are now. And after using them quite a lot in the last few days since they've been nerfed, unfortunately, I can confidently say that the nerf was nowhere near enough, and these two guns, especially the DMR, is just still very, very overpowered, and pretty much every lobby I'm in is filled with people using this combo of the DMR and the Diamatis, and also the Mac 10, but I don't think the Mac 10 is as overpowered as these two guns, which just makes Warzone very bland and unvaried because of like how dominant these two weapons are. You just can't use anything else if you want to compete in the meta, because if you use something like the Kilo or the AMAX even, which are two very good guns, you still just can't beat people using the DMR 14, unfortunately, just because of how good it is. And really, the reason why the DMR is still so dominant is because when they nerfed it, they essentially only really half nerfed it and didn't really address the main issue with the gun, which is the fact that it's just super easy to use and super accurate at mid to long range. And you know, the two-shot headshot ability that it had before, yeah, that was very overpowered, but it wasn't like the main thing, I'd say, that made it OP. So when they nerfed it, they basically made it a 3-shot kill now to the head, which, yes, I agree, that was definitely needed, but this gun needed to be nerfed in so many other ways as well. For example, its accuracy. It's just so spammable at mid and long range. You can basically just, yes, especially for using it on PC, it's very easy to hit people at long range. And like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, before it was nerfed, I wasn't really depending on the 2-shot headshot to get my kills. It was kind of like, yeah, okay, if I landed a headshot by accident, it would make my time to kill a lot better. But most of the time, and I think for most people, they've been going for the upper chest shots, and like, the gun is still very, very good and easy to land those, and the time to kill is still very strong compared to all other weapons in the game at mid-range to long range. So it's just very, very unbalanced. You know, for guns that are supposed to be very accurate, like the Kilo and the Grau, they're balanced because they don't have a very good time to kill at mid to long range, and that's what made them balanced with other guns like the M4, for example, that has a good close range time to kill, but not so accurate at mid to long range because of its rate of recoil, which is a lot harder to control than the Kilo, for instance. But on this DMR 14, it's super accurate at long range, and it's also got a super good time to kill that's better than pretty much most of the assault rifles in this game. So it's just a deadly combo that makes it very overpowered and just quite boring, really, because you can't use anything else if you want to survive now in Warzone. And to add to this ridiculousness with the DMR, the barrel attachments are just completely broken. For example, the titanium barrel, which is the best one that everyone uses, it increases your fire rate by quite a lot without even adding any major drawbacks to the weapon. For example, it says on the stats that it's supposed to lower your bullet velocity and damage range and whatnot, but it actually increases your bullet velocity and there's no impact to the damage range at all, which is just completely ridiculous and makes the gun even more overpowered when you equip this. I think when they nerfed this, what they really needed to do was they should have added even more vertical recoil to the DMR, or at least lowered its fire rate, or even just made it use sniper ammo like the EBR-14 and the SKS, so that you can't just freely spam it away without worrying about ammo, which is basically you get plentiful amounts of AR ammo, so you never have to worry about running out with the DMR. And it's just like, to add insult to injury, it basically just makes the EBR-14 and the SKS and those kind of marksman rifles just even more useless than they are now, because not only do they use sniper ammo, but they also have less damage per bullet, less time to kill if you're hitting all your shots than the DMR-14 and even the Type 63. So it's just like, what the heck, you know? Like, why do they even bother having these guns in the game if they're just going to completely ignore them and just have them outclassed in every way by another gun? It just doesn't make sense to me unless they're trying to get people to buy the Battle Pass and buy Cold War and stuff like that. Now, as for the dual-wield Diamante pistols, after they nerfed its damage range and hipfire accuracy when using the dual-wield specifically, these do feel a bit worse now after that, but I don't really think that's saying much because they were still very overpowered, like extremely overpowered before this update, and they're still pretty overpowered now, especially because you don't need to use overkill to use these weapons. So if you compare it to all the other pistols in the game, they're pretty much just useless now, because none of them can offer anything the Diamatis can do, and the Diamatis are just like, they're still so good compared to even the shotguns. Like, I don't think any of the shotguns in the current state really compare to the Diamati pistols at all, because of the fact that the Diamatis can kill in one burst, potentially, if someone is at point-blank range to you. Now, I haven't really used the Street Sweeper that much yet, but I do plan to test it out, but I know compared to all the other shotguns, at close range, the Diamatis just completely blow them out of the water, so yeah, they're still the best dual-wield guns to use they're still the best secondary weapons to use in the game, and it's just a shame, really, because there's so many other guns that I'd rather try out, but it's just really hard to do when, like, you're in a lobby full of people not only using the DMR, but they're also using the Diamati pistols, so you can't really beat them at close range unless you're also using the dual pistols too. I will say, though, that for the Diamati pistols, with that hipfire nerf that they applied to it, it does make it a bit harder to hit people past about 5 meters, so I'd really focus on using these as, like, your extremely close range guns, where if you're rushing someone inside a building and they're, like, you know, door to door, that's where it really shines. Or even if you're just camping in a building, waiting for someone to run up to you, that's where the Diamatis are really, really good, and where they just beat every other, like, weapon in the game, pretty much. And just before we move on, apparently the single Diamante pistol without dual wield wasn't nerfed at all, so that is still an effective option if you prefer to aim down sight for slightly longer ranges past about the 5 meter mark. But for me personally, I mostly prefer to just use it in dual wield, as it's got that potential for a one burst kill when both of your pistols are hitting your opponent. So I just like that ability more, so that's why I use dual wield, and to me, that's just really the best thing about these pistols, because it basically outclasses every shotgun in the game if all your burst hits and you have two pistols at the same time. So it's just like, compared to all the other shotguns in the game, you can easily hold a building down against multiple people in teams, because if you're using the 30-round fast mag, your reload speed is so fast that if you kill one or two people and you need to reload, you can then get even the next two. Whereas if you're using a shotgun, for example, like let's say the R9 shotgun, you know, it takes forever to reload that thing. So after you get like one or two kills with it and the enemy, like the last guy rushes you, most of the time they'll be able to kill you while you're trying to reload all those pellets in one by one. But with these dual pistols, you just don't have that drawback, which is another thing that makes them really overpowered for close range. And yeah, so with all that out of the way, let's go over the best class setups for these two guns. And if you're a Call of Duty sweat like me, then you'll probably already know what the best attachments are. But anyways, with that said, the best attachments on the DMR are the Agency Suppressor, the Titanium Barrel, the 3x Zoom Optic, the standard 30-round mags, which is the first ones you unlock because they don't come with any drawbacks to aim down sight speed, which is pretty important, the Field Agent foregrip, and yeah, those are the best 5 attachments for the DMR. Now, for the Diamatis, the best attachments are also the Agency Suppressor, again, the Task Force Barrel, the 5 milliwatt laser sight, 30-round fast mags, and of course, the dual wield attachment. So yeah, with all that said and done now, we're finished with the video. Thanks for watching all the way till the end, and if you enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button for me. It really means a lot. And yeah, thanks, and stay safe, guys. See you next time.